Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the May 15th Al-Anon readings in Courage to Change and a little time for myself. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I will take a moment to look this over. The question is, am I one of my top priorities today? And the passage, the passage begins with Tradition 5, which says, quote, each Al-Anon family group has but one purpose, to help families of alcoholics. We do this by practicing the 12 steps of AA ourselves, by encouraging and understanding our alcoholic relatives, and by welcoming and giving comfort to families of alcoholics, unquote. We study steps for our own recovery, encouraging our loved ones who struggle with substance abuse, and to support families and others affected by substance abuse. Today's reminder: I can't help anyone unless I take care of myself. And the quote is from Reaching for Personal Freedom. We stop trying to change our loved ones with who are having troubles with substance abuse, and we focus on ourselves. And it says there's always plenty to do when working the steps. Am I one of my top priorities? I can honestly say yes. It's because of, I think it's easier because of my phase of life, but maybe not. I know people who are similar in age and they have, they spread their time amongst many different things. But I'm guessing it's because that's what they want to do. I don't know. I spend all of my time doing what I want to do. It's funny. It sounds funny to hear that. It's not. I don't think it's a selfish thing. I think it's an authentic thing. I think it's something that I've learned over time by being an Al-Anon. Is that I am my number one priority. I am the only one. The only thing I can control is myself. So when I put my energy towards myself, I'm making a good use of my energy and my time. That being said, I try to do, part of what helps me to feel good is to help others. I do volunteer work. I help people whenever I can. I've been helping a friend organize her house for over a year. I think it's been about a year and a half almost. And little by little, one day a week for a couple of hours, and not every week. Um, and I try to just be kind, mind my own business, but be kind and speak what is true for me. So when I say mind my own business, it doesn't mean that I like try to ignore things that I think are bad. Like if someone says something that, especially, I don't know, I don't want to go on a tangent. But if someone is saying something that I really, really, really disagree with, I can say, I don't feel that way. I feel differently. It doesn't have to, it's not accusatory, and it's not easy to say, but, um, and I usually end up saying something dorky like, I really like you, I really, well, whatever, because it's hard for me to say challenging things, but I don't I don't see things that way. That's all. That's all. Doesn't mean anything. It just means that I have a different opinion based on my experiences up until this point, and I reserve the right to change my mind, but today, here and now, this is how I see it. That's all. So, um, the other thing is, like, I've worked really hard to make my life one that is based around me being my own top priority. I'm not sure, like, that would be like another hour video, but um, for me, I think, going through the experiences that I've gone through, being a grateful member of Al-Anon was the beginning of that. And then having so much time during COVID in my house by myself, these things all culminated into um, me making uh, what I feel like are really big decisions in my life, like retiring, like moving in with my partner, um, and that's it. Those are the three big decisions right there. But to me, those are really, really big decisions. And to me, like I feel like when I think about it, I think, wow, that took a lot of courage. But like it really paid off because I'm really, really, really happy. So, am I one of my top priorities today? I think I can confidently say yes. I will take a moment and look this over. This is beautiful. This is about expressing love, accepting help and support. The passage begins with this person coming to Al-Anon and seeing people hug each other and they did not feel comfortable with that at all. That is not how they grew up, with physical affection. They did not want that, but they kept coming back to meetings, and people respected their need for space without question. And as they became more experienced in the program, they began to let their feelings show more, and they cried and they laughed, and they felt a real fellowship with the people they were in their meeting with. And they felt very close with these people. And now they've learned that there are many different forms of love. It doesn't have to be shown as a hug. This person is developing other ways of expressing their love for people. And they are accepting the support of their fellow Al-Anon members. Today's reminder: I am worthy of love and respect. I won't let old fears keep me from receiving support. And the quote is from Simone Weil. Love is light. That's really beautiful. And I think, it's funny because I started in 2000 in Al-Anon, April 2013, and at that time the only meetings I went to were in person. And it wasn't until things shut down in 2020 during COVID that I started going to online meetings. And I'm aware that there are people now who only know online meetings for whatever reason. Now, there are lots of in-person meetings again, but there are people who, because of circumstances in their lives, only go to online meetings, and they don't have that physical piece. And of course, I think going to online meetings is better than going to no meetings, but I also think there is something unique and special about in-person meetings. So, to each their own, got to do what works for you. But like, this page wouldn't even, if there were no in-person meetings, this page wouldn't even exist, because it talks about hugging at the end of meetings, and you can't hug at the end of an online meeting, obviously. But I think about that with people I know too, people I grew up with, who, like my dad, who very, 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 very rarely says that he loves me. But I know that he does. And my dad is not an alcoholic. Not at all. He just, it's probably a combination of his personality and how he grew up. He just doesn't express his love that way. He expresses love in other ways that are non-physical. And I actually had a boyfriend like that too, which was difficult for me to manage, actually. I don't know why I didn't make the connection that if my dad grew up that way and that was his personality, then that could also be the way, like, my boyfriend grew up, and not my partner now, but a former boyfriend. I don't know. It was more challenging for me in that respect. In any case, I guess that's just where I was at the time. But I love that about Al-Anon, that we can just be who we are, and we are accepted and loved. And I feel that way, and I give that to others as well. And that's why I always call Al-Anon a miracle of humanity, because It's just humans at their absolute best, in my opinion. And there are lots of ways that humans are wonderful. But this is a shining example, in my opinion. We'll close out with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.